We all know that making sure that this situation is resolved as quickly and as safely as possible requires the cooperation and the work of everyone. And that's why we have made it clear over the last few weeks and days that we expect everyone, and especially every traveler coming from outside of Canada, inside of Canada, to follow the strict self-isolation, not only guidelines, but not only recommendations and guidelines, but these are requirements. People must self-isolate for 14 days. We understand that most and a large majority of Canadian travelers understand and apply those measures. But we also are mindful that there are a few that might require perhaps more serious care in particular, defined in a particular way. And that's why we are working with security agencies and police forces across Canada to make sure that when that is needed, and we understand this is rarely needed, the collaborative engagement of all police forces, including the RCMP, may be required and may be implemented. But Dr. Tam, you might have a public safety perspective on that as well.
Yes, I think it's really to give us the range of tools that might be needed. Of course, we're asking everyone that when you're issued a order from the federal government on the Quarantine Act, we expect that to be followed. We are contacting people, and for the majority of the time, you can find them in their rightful place of self-isolation and quarantine. But this is just the range of measures. Then our peace officers who are designated under the Quarantine Act can then take necessary measures. And the Quarantine Act has very powerful penalties. But what you don't want is to just apply the really high end of those measures. You want to sort of make sure, fair warnings given, education is given, and calibrate what you may want to apply to a particular person not following the Quarantine Act in a sort of calibrated way, if you like. So I think it is to look at the range of instruments and how you implement this that the RCMP is currently looking at.